The approaching storm high, Admiral Zexai stood on the command deck of the Dominion vessel Worldbreaker, his crystalline exoskeleton catching the light from distant stars. Through the massive viewport, he watched as 15,000 Vonia warships moved in perfect formation through the void. Each vessel gleamed with the blue-white energy of their quantum drives, creating a constellation of destruction that had brought order to 17 star systems. The Vonia had ruled their sector of the galaxy for 3 millennia. Their technology was advanced, their military doctrine proven, and their resolve absolute. They viewed themselves as guardians of galactic stability, bringing civilization to primitive worlds that might otherwise threaten the greater peace. Today, they would add another system to their empire. ZEX, single quotes, HAI, activated his communication array and addressed the fleet. His voice carried the authority of someone who had never known defeat. The target system contains a species called humans. Our intelligence indicates they have recently achieved spaceflight, but remain confined to their single star system. They show signs of aggression and rapid technological advancement that could pose future threats to galactic stability. On his tactical display, the Sol system appeared as a simple arrangement of planets orbiting a yellow star. The third planet, Earth, showed the electromagnetic signatures of a developing civilization. Primitive radio transmissions, basic satellite networks, and simple chemical rockets indicated a species just beginning to reach beyond their world. The humans had been observed for several decades by Vonia scout ships operating at the edge of their system. The reports were consistent across all observations. They were a young species, divided into numerous competing nations, with technology centuries behind Varnia standards. Their weapons were crude, their space vessels barely capable of reaching their own moon, and their military forces fragmented across their homeworld. Sub-Commander Veltar approached with the latest intelligence reports. His movements carried the fluid grace typical of his species, and his bioluminescent patches pulsed with colors indicating confidence and anticipation. "Hi, Admiral. Our advanced scouts confirm minimal orbital defenses. The humans possess approximately 300 spacecraft, most incapable of interplanetary travel. Their largest vessels are crude construction platforms and communication satellites." Zek nodded, his antennae twitching with satisfaction. The conquest would be swift and relatively bloodless. The Vonia preferred to avoid unnecessary destruction when possible. A few strategic strikes to disable their communications and transportation networks would demonstrate Varnia's superiority. After that, negotiations with whatever government emerged would establish the terms of integration into the Empire. However, far beneath the surface of Earth, a very different conversation was taking place. Admiral Kayla Thorne sat in the Strategic Defense Command Center, buried 3 kilometers under the Rocky Mountains. The chamber hummed with activity as hundreds of technicians monitored displays showing the approaching alien fleet. Every screen told the same story. Humanity was about to face its greatest challenge. Thorne was a woman in her 50s, with steel-gray hair and eyes that had seen too many classified briefings about potential threats from space. She had spent her entire career preparing for this moment, though she had hoped it would never come. Around her, the most advanced technology on Earth tracked the incoming invasion force with precision that would have surprised the Vonia observers. The red alert signal echoed through the facility as Lieutenant Colonel Marcus Webb approached her. "Station, the alien fleet has crossed the heliopore's boundary. Current speed indicates they will reach Earth orbit in 72 hours. All Project Sentinel installations report ready status." Thorne nodded calmly, though her heart raced with the weight of responsibility. Project Sentinel had been humanity's greatest secret for 4 decades. Born from the paranoia of the Cold War and the growing awareness that Earth might not be alone in the universe, it represented the largest military construction project in human history. Webb activated a holographic display that filled the air above their console. To most observers, it would have looked like a standard representation of the solar system. But as Webb input his authorization codes, the display transformed. Red dots appeared throughout the asteroid belt, around the gas giants, and in the seemingly empty space between planets. Each dot represented a weapons platform, supply depot, or hidden base. The Vonia intelligence is 40 years out of date, Webb observed. They have no idea what we have built out there. Thorne studied the tactical display with professional satisfaction. Every mining operation in the asteroid belt had been a cover for weapons installations. Every deep space probe had deployed automated defense systems. Every commercial satellite launch had carried military payloads. For 4 decades, humanity had been turning their solar system into the most heavily fortified location in known space. The plan was elegant in its simplicity. Allow the aliens to enter the system while appearing helpless and primitive. Let them advance toward Earth, confident in their superiority. Then reveal the true extent of human military capability when they were too deep in the gravity well to escape quickly. Meanwhile, on the bridge of the Worldbreaker, Zexai reviewed the final approach, vectors. His fleet would advance in 3 waves. The first would eliminate any orbital defenses around Earth. The second would establish control over the system's major population centers. The third would remain in reserve to handle any unexpected resistance. The plan reflected standard Vonia doctrine, proven effective across dozens of conquered worlds. Overwhelming force applied precisely would minimize casualties on both sides while demonstrating the futility of resistance. The humans would realize the hopelessness of their situation and surrender before significant damage occurred. But as the alien fleet crossed into the outer solar system, automated sensors throughout the asteroid belt began tracking their movements. On Ceres Station, disguised as a mining facility, weapons that had waited decades for activation came online. Hidden installations throughout the belt synchronized their targeting systems and began calculating firing solutions. Captain Sarah Chen commanded the Ceres Defense Complex from a control room that looked exactly like a standard mining operation headquarters. Her screens showed ore extraction rates, equipment maintenance schedules, and worker shift rotations, but a second set of displays, hidden behind false panels, revealed the true nature of her facility. Ceres had been hollowed out over 30 years, its interior filled with railguns capable of accelerating projectiles to significant fractions of light speed. The asteroid's rotation had been carefully adjusted to provide optimal firing angles. Throughout the solar system, similar installations existed on Vesta, Pallas, and dozens of smaller bodies throughout the belt. Chen received the activation signal from Earth and felt a mixture of excitement and dread. Her entire career had been spent preparing for this moment, training for a battle that everyone hoped would never come. Now, as alien ships approached in perfect formation, she realized that humanity's survival depended on the effectiveness of their decades-long deception. The Vonia fleet continued its advance, confident and unhurried. Their sensors detected the expected signs of a developing civilization, radio transmissions, orbital debris, and primitive spacecraft. Nothing suggested a significant military threat. Their formation remained tight and organized. perfect for intimidation but vulnerable to coordinated attack. As the aliens passed through the outer asteroid belt, automated systems throughout the region noted their positions and transmitted data. 2 hidden command centers, every weapon platform, every concealed base, every disguised installation received targeting information and prepared for coordinated strike. On Jupiter's moon, Europa, beneath kilometers of ice, the largest military installation in the solar system waited in silence. The facility had been under construction since the early 21st century, its massive particle accelerators and antimatter production facilities hidden from all external observation. Similar bases existed throughout the outer system, each one capable of devastating an entire fleet. Admiral Thorne watched the tactical display as the alien fleet moved deeper into the solar system. Their formation showed they expected no serious resistance. Their speed suggested they planned to reach Earth quickly and decisively. Everything proceeded exactly as the defense planners had hoped. She opened a communication channel to every hidden installation in the system. Her words would reach thousands of personnel who had spent years preparing for this moment. The safety of Earth and the future of humanity rested in their hands. This is Admiral Thorne to all Sentinel installations. The moment we have prepared for has arrived. These invaders believe they face a primitive, helpless species. They will discover that humanity is neither primitive nor helpless. All stations report ready status and await final authorization. Responses flooded in from across the solar system. Asteroid bases reported weapons charged and targeting systems locked. Outer planet installations confirmed missile batteries loaded and ready. Hidden ships throughout the system acknowledged orders and prepared to emerge from concealment. The Vonia fleet continued its advance, unaware that they were flying into the most elaborate trap in galactic history. High Admirals studied his displays with satisfaction, confident that the conquest would proceed smoothly. His intelligence suggested the humans might surrender without significant resistance once they realized the hopelessness of their situation. But humanity had spent 40 years ensuring they would never be helpless again. As the alien fleet approached the inner system, thousands of weapons platforms prepared to demonstrate why attacking Earth was the greatest mistake the Vonia Empire would ever make. The trap was set. Soon it would be sprung. The impossible defense. The first shot came from the asteroid series, appearing as nothing more than a mining facility to Vonia sensors. Captain Sarah Chen watched her targeting display lock onto the lead Vonia destroyer and pressed the firing stud. A tungsten projectile, accelerated to 12% of light speed, crossed 3 million kilometers in less than 2 minutes. The Vonia destroyer's swift victory simply ceased to exist. The kinetic impact released energy equivalent to a small nuclear weapon, vaporizing the ship so completely that only expanding plasma remained. On the bridge of the Worldbreaker, alarms began screaming as sensor operators struggled to understand what had happened. High Admiral X-High stared at his tactical display in disbelief. Where moments before a fully functional warship had been broadcasting status reports, now only empty space remained. Impossible. What weapon could destroy a ship so completely? His answer came 30 seconds later as railgun projectiles from 24 asteroid installations opened fire simultaneously. Vonia ships throughout the fleet began disappearing in bowls of superheated gas. The aliens' energy shields, designed to deflect particle beams and plasma bolts, were useless against solid metal moving at relativistic speeds. Subcommander Veltar activated the fleet's defensive protocols, but there was nothing to defend against. The attacks seemed to come from empty space itself. Their sensors detected no enemy ships, no weapon signatures, nothing that resembled a conventional military threat. Yet their vessels were being destroyed at an alarming rate. Emergency evasive maneuvers, HFY commanded. All ships scatter formation and identify the source of these attacks. But as the Vonia fleet broke formation, the second phase of humanity's defense began. Throughout the asteroid belt, installations that had masqueraded as mining equipment for decades shed their disguises. Weapon bays opened, missile tubes extended, and what appeared to be or processing plants revealed themselves. As military bases, on Admiral Thorne's display, the battle unfolded exactly as planned. Phase 1, successful. Asteroid railguns have destroyed approximately 400 enemy vessels. Initiate Phase 2. Hidden shipyards throughout the belt began launching their contents. For 30 years, humanity had been building warships in secret, constructing them inside hollowed-out asteroids where they would remain invisible to outside observation. Now, over 800 human vessels emerged from concealment and accelerated toward the Vonia fleet. These were not the primitive spacecraft the aliens expected. Human military technology had advanced far beyond public knowledge, driven by decades of preparation for exactly this scenario. The ships used fusion drives that could sustain accelerations impossible for biological crews. Their hulls were constructed from metamaterials that could absorb tremendous punishment, and their weapon systems incorporated technologies that pushed the boundaries of physics. Commander Lisa Rodriguez piloted her ship, Earth's Defiance, out of its hiding place inside the asteroid Vesta. Her vessel was smaller than most Von airships, but faster and more maneuverable. As she accelerated toward the enemy fleet, her tactical computer identified priority targets and calculated attack vectors. This is Vanguard leader to all ships. Remember your training. These aliens think we are primitive. Let us show them how. Wrong they are. The human ships attacked in coordinated groups, using tactics that the Vonia had never encountered. Instead of the direct confrontations typical of space warfare, the humans employed hit-and-run strikes, using the asteroid belt's complex gravitational environment to their advantage. Rodriguez's ship dove toward a cluster of Vonia cruisers, its weapons blazing. But instead of engaging in sustained combat, it used gravitational slingshot maneuvers around nearby asteroids to build up tremendous velocity, then disappeared before the aliens could respond effectively. High Admiral HFY watched his carefully planned invasion dissolve into chaos. His sensors now showed hundreds of human ships where moments before there had been empty space. The tactical display revealed weapon platforms throughout the asteroid belt, all targeting his fleet with devastating accuracy. "How many ships do we have left?" he demanded. "Approximately 11,000, sir, but many are reporting significant damage. Our formation is completely disrupted, and we cannot identify all the sources of enemy fire. 11,000 ships destroyed in less than an hour." HFY had never experienced losses on such a scale. The humans were not supposed to possess this level of military capability. Their intelligence reports had indicated a primitive species barely capable of SPACEF LIGHT. But the worst was yet to come. As the surviving Vonia ships tried to regroup, new contacts appeared on their sensors. These signatures came from the outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, and beyond. What the Vonia observed changed their understanding of human military capability forever. Asterisk. The gas giant Jupiter had been humanity's greatest secret for decades. The Great Red Spot, a storm larger than Earth itself, provided perfect cover for the largest weapons installation ever constructed. Inside the swirling clouds, orbital platforms, the size of cities had been assembling for 30 years. Admiral Chen Wei commanded the Jupiter defense platform from a facility that could have housed 1 million people. Her installation was invisible to outside observation, hidden within the planet's turbulent atmosphere and protected by electromagnetic fields that made detection impossible. Earth Command, this is Jupiter Station. We have clear targeting solutions. On the enemy fleet. Request permission to engage. Permission granted, Admiral. Show them what humanity can build when we put our minds to it. The first antimatter torpedo launched from deep within Jupiter's atmosphere, accelerating to nearly 20% of light speed as it crossed the solar system. When it struck the Vonir flagship warbreaker, the explosion was visible from Earth despite the vast distance. Zexhai found himself thrown to the deck as his ship convulsed under the impact. Emergency lights flickered throughout the bridge as automated systems struggled to contain the damage. When he regained his feet, half his displays were dark and the air tasted of ozone and burning electronics. Sir, we have multiple hull breaches. On decks 15 through 23, engineering reports cascade failures throughout the power grid. We are losing life support in several sections. More antimatter torpedoes followed, each one capable of destroying a ship much larger than its target. The Vonir fleet, designed for conquering primitive worlds, found itself facing weapons that incorporated technologies they had never encountered. But Jupiter was only the beginning. As Zexhai's surviving ships tried to escape the inner system, Saturn's moon Titan revealed its own surprises. The moon's dense atmosphere had concealed construction projects even more ambitious than Jupiter's installations. Colonel James Park commanded the Titan Missile Complex, a facility that stretched across half the moon's surface. His weapons were different from Jupiter's antimatter torpedoes or the asteroid railguns. Titan had been turned into a manufacturing center for self-replicating hunter-killer missiles. The first wave launched simultaneously from hundreds of concealed silos. Each missile was equipped with advanced artificial intelligence and enough fuel to pursue targets throughout the solar system. They could coordinate their attacks, adapt to enemy countermeasures, and continue functioning even after suffering significant damage. The Vonir watched in horror as thousands of missiles emerged from what they had believed to be an uninhabited moon. Their point defense systems, designed to handle conventional attacks, were overwhelmed by the sheer number of incoming threats. Zexhai realized that his invasion had become a retreat, then a rout, and finally a desperate fight for survival. The humans had turned their entire solar system into a weapon specifically designed to destroy invading fleets. Every planet, every moon, every piece of apparently empty space concealed some new horror designed to kill his ships. As the surviving Vonir vessels fled toward the outer system, they encountered humanity's final surprise. The moon, Earth's natural satellite, had appeared to be nothing more than a dead rock with a few research stations. The alien sensors detected no significant military installations, no obvious weapons, nothing that suggested a threat. They were catastrophically wrong. Lunar Base had been under construction since the 1970s. Its facilities buried so deep beneath the surface that no external observation could detect them. The entire moon had been converted into a fortress designed to protect Earth from exactly this type of attack. Admiral Rebecca Stone commanded Lunar Base from a control room carved out of solid rock 5 kilometers beneath the surface. Her installation was the ultimate expression of human determination to never again be vulnerable to external threats. As the fleeing Vonir ships approached Earth's orbital space, Stone activated weapons that had been waiting decades for their moment of truth. The moon's far side opened like a flower, revealing gun barrels the size of skyscrapers and missile tubes that could swallow city blocks. This is Luna, base to all surviving enemy vessels. You have 60 seconds to reverse course and leave this system immediately. This is your final warning. Zexhai received the transmission on his damaged bridge and felt something he had never experienced before: complete and total defeat. His magnificent fleet of 15,000 ships had been reduced to fewer than 3,000 survivors, all damaged, all fleeing for their lives. "You have proven your point," he transmitted back. "We withdraw from your system and will not return." The response came not from Lunar Base but from Earth itself. Admiral Thorne's voice carried the authority of a species that would never again allow itself to be threatened. "Hi, Admiral. Your intelligence about humanity was 40 years out of date. We are not the primitive species you expected to find. We have spent 4 decades preparing for visitors exactly like you. Tell your empire that Earth is defended, and we will respond to any future threats with even greater force." As the surviving Vanir ships limped out of the solar system, Zexhai contemplated the reports he would have to deliver to his superiors. The humans possessed military technology equal to or superior to Vanir capabilities. Their defensive installations throughout the solar system suggested a level of preparation and determination that marked them as a major galactic power. The intelligence reports would be rewritten. The humans would no longer be classified as a primitive species suitable for conquest. Instead, they would be marked as a advanced civilization to be approached with respect and caution. On Earth, Admiral Thorne watched the alien fleet disappear into deep space and allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. Humanity had passed its greatest test. The secret installations could now be revealed to the public, and Earth could take its place among the stars as a civilization that would never bow to external threats. The solar system was safe, and the galaxy had learned an important lesson: never underestimate humanity's capacity for preparation, ingenuity, and absolute determination to survive.